And we are back. In addition to causing headaches for the GOP on gun control, Congressman Phil Gingrey of Georgia is also defending his friend Todd Akin. Just months after Todd Akin's views on legitimate rape cost him a Senate race and cost the GOP control of the Senate, Gingrey told a crowd at a local Chamber of Commerce event that Akin is partially right when it comes to a woman's ability to prevent a pregnancy caused by a so-called legitimate rape.
What he meant by legitimate rape was that, look, someone can say I was raped, scared to death, 15-year-old that becomes impregnated by a boyfriend and then has to tell her parents, that's pretty tough. And might, on some occasion, say, hey, I was raped. That's what he meant when he said legitimate rape versus non-legitimate rape. I don't find anything so horrible about that. But then he went on and said that in a situation of rape, of a legitimate rape, a woman's body has a way of shutting down so that pregnancy would not occur. He's partly right on that.
So why would anyone listen to Phil Gingrey spout off scientifically inaccurate assertions about a woman's body? For starters, he's the co-chair of the House GOP's Doctors Caucus. And oh yeah, he's also a practicing OBGYN.
And I've delivered lots of babies, and I know about these things. We tell infertile couples all the time that are having trouble conceiving because of the woman not ovulating, just relax. Drink a glass of wine. And don't be so tense and uptight, because all that adrenaline can cause you not to ovulate. So he was partially right, wasn't he? And yet the media took that and tore it apart.
Gingrey now says his words have been misconstrued, and he was not defending Akin or failed Indiana Senate candidate Richard Murdoch. At a breakfast yesterday morning, I was asked why Democrats made abortion a central theme of the presidential campaign. I do not defend, nor do I stand by the remarks made by Representative Akin or Dr. Murdoch in my attempt to provide context as to what I presumed they meant. My position was misconstrued. I am joined tonight by Karen Finney, MSNBC political analyst and former communications director of the DNC. How insulting is it?
I mean, Ed, they just don't stop, do they? Wow. First of all, I don't think this man should go anywhere near any female's body ever again, because that level of ignorance is dangerous, as we've seen before. It's insulting, but it also, you know what, Ed, it shows us that, the Republican Party, they still have this problem that they're trying to tamp down some of these guys and say, hey, just don't talk about it. But certainly somebody who is a doctor, who is part of a caucus, who is, then thinking about policy that affects women's lives, is someone who is in a position to make very dangerous decisions. And so regardless of, even if they get him to change the talking points, from a policy standpoint, this guy is just as misguided and, sort of ignorant about women's bodies as the rest of them.
Is there anything he said there that would have been misconstrued? I mean, forget the question. I mean, the context of what he said spoke very clear to you as a woman.
It was very clear to me. I mean, trying to suggest that, a teenager who has sex with her boyfriend and gets pregnant, and then, that somehow that's what, Akin meant by legitimate versus illegitimate rape. I mean, that's just disgusting. I mean, that is on so many levels. No, and this idea that, like, if I'm stressed, I should just have a glass of wine and calm down, and that's the way to get pregnant. I mean, if that worked, Ed, the IVF industry would go out of business.
Once again, the real views of the GOP on full display, no question about it. He also went on to say that he thinks that the Democrats kept the Senate because of Akin's and Murdoch's comments. He also told the crowd that Mitt Romney pretty much was not the guy, said he didn't help very much. So he had quite a day in front of this crowd down in Georgia.
But they're also trying to suggest that Democrats are trying to force Republicans into talking about rape. And I think, as this comment makes pretty clear, and Akin Akin and Murdoch, they brought it up. I mean, they brought it up as part of a conversation. Nobody's forcing them to talk about this. And, you know, again, it shows this idea about the war on women continues. What else happened this week? We had Paul Ryan introduce a fetal personhood bill. We know that Marsha Blackburn introduced legislation to again defund Planned Parenthood. So it's just more of the same, right back where we started.
Karen Finney, great to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. There's a lot more coming up in the next half hour of the Ed Show. Stay with us.
The key to filibuster reform could all be in Harry Reid's hands. Howard Dean gives us the outlook next.
$1 trillion coin.
$1 trillion platinum coin.
You guys have a position on this $1 trillion coin business?
And we'll tell you the real facts on the $1 trillion coin. Here's a hint. It doesn't equal the weight of 89 blue whales. Junior Seau's brain exam was a powerful wake-up call, and Chris Nowinski of the Sports Legacy Institute is taking the NFL to task.